I'm Dan Engling. I'm Vice President of Safety and Industrial Health Services with KERAMIDA. Since the early 1970s, when OSHA was first developed, there have been a number of different milestones that have sort of marked the way to where we are today. Some of those have been OSHA publications that came out assisting employers with the idea of heat stress and how to combat some of those stresses on their workforce in varying different applications. Some of them have been research that has happened at the level of the NIH or universities. Throughout the 2000s, various labor organizations and collective bargaining organizations have developed standards and criteria and requirements and publications regarding heat stress. In 2014, OSHA launched a heat stress education campaign that pushed us through the 20-teens. And we get to 2020, 2021, and beyond, we start seeing talk and rumbling about this new standard. And in 2024, it was finally given to us as a proposed rule. Then we get into 2025. A lot has happened in 2025. January 20th, we saw a new regulation freeze. So what that means is that all new regulations are frozen until such a time as the new administration gets their arms around what's required and how that's going to impact the economy and whatever else is determined to be important at that time before that new regulation is allowed to move forward. And it's not just this regulation, it's a lot of regulations across the board, anything that was in motion at the time of January 20th. 11 days later, we saw another executive order called the 10-to-1 Deregulation Initiative. And what that says is that for any new regulation to come into enforceable status, an agency has to remove 10 other old regulations and kind of prioritize what they really want. So what we see and expect to occur as a part of that effort is some of the regulations that are in process right now just aren't as important as 10 other regulations that agency might have. And so we may just see certain proposed rules go away. We also may see agencies effectively do that, pull 10 regulations in order to apply one that they think is more important. This 10-to-1 order, it directly harkens back to the 2018 2-to-1 rule, which actually was almost the exact same language, but ultimately saw 5-to-1 or greater reduction in regulation. So if we base it on that, we're probably going to see a significant reduction in regulation in order to push forward. The real question is, which regulations that are in process are important enough to warrant that kind of priority from the agency that's pushing it. Another thing that's important for 2025 is that we still have a national emphasis program for heat stress that goes into 2025. So that national emphasis program is basically a push from OSHA to investigate potential heat stress issues and basically at that point cite them under the general duty clause until we have a specific heat stress rule in place. This new regulation and the story associated with it are still unfolding. So stay connected, find a way to make sure that when new things happen and changes come into play and it becomes enforceable, that you are aware of it. So to stay in touch and make sure that you don't miss any of these things, check out our website, subscribe to the KERAMIDA newsletter, and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube for more information coming forward.